Shedeur Sanders is throwing to equipment guys. Browns analyst gets brutally honest about Cleveland's QB battle. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders' uphill struggle for a roster spot gets steeper. Find out what one NFL analyst said about his chances. When drafted in the 5th round, many believed that Sanders would need to embark upon a fantastic summer just to make the roster. With 3 other quarterbacks on the roster, the rookie from Colorado needs to execute a flawless training camp just to garner consideration before cut-down day. Plus, with so many quarterbacks competing for limited space, each snap becomes essential, as he cannot afford to waste a single rep. Cleveland Browns QB Shedeur Sanders sits at bottom of depth chart, asserts NFL analyst. On paper, Joe Flacco remains the wily veteran with a grasp of the offense. Moreover, Kenny Pickett is the mobile alternative with upside, still young enough to turn into a good quarterback. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel plays the game with poise and can scan the offense. With that said, where does that leave Sanders in the big picture? In all honesty, the Browns inflicted this mess upon themselves by drafting 2 quarterbacks when they already employed 2 signal callers before this. According to ESPN Cleveland radio host Aaron Goldhammer, the Browns seemingly decided to say the quiet part aloud. Shedeur Sanders is throwing, apparently, not to receivers but to equipment guys. They've got equipment guys such as Juggs, snapping him the ball and also running the routes. Mahomes is throwing to Kelsey. Shedeur is throwing to the equipment guys. Dillon Gabriel looks like the best quarterback in camp. Joe Flacco looks old. I'm starting to think that once the season starts, we'll utter the name Dillon Gabriel more than Shedeur Sanders. Goldhammer arrives at his point in the weirdest way possible. Why invoke Mahomes' name when comparing a 3-time Super Bowl champion to a rookie who has not played a single NFL game yet? In contrast, his dismissive critiques of Flacco and Pickett, blended with his praise of Gabriel, do not bode well for Sanders. More importantly, it casts a large shadow of doubt upon general manager Andrew Berry and his ability to evaluate talent. What can Sanders do to win a playoff spot? From here, it looks like he could be destined for the practice squad, which could be the best thing for him. If Cleveland places him on the practice squad, any team can claim him and put him on their active roster. Sanders cannot overcome 3 other quarterbacks to catch the attention of coaches. The Browns allowed him to practice and probably play in the game. Still, his best path to an NFL team could be outside of Cleveland. The morning fog clung to the Browns' training facility like a stubborn guest, and the buzz in Berea was electric. Reporters lined the sideline with steaming coffee cups, scribbling notes, cameras pointed toward the quarterback drills. But as the first-team offense huddled under the command of a veteran signal caller, Shedeur Sanders was off on the far field, throwing to men who weren't even on the depth chart. Literally. They've got him out there, one analyst grumbled into a live microphone, throwing to equipment guys. Not even the third-team wideouts. Equipment guys. That tells you everything about how Stefanski's viewing this battle right now. The clip hit Twitter within minutes. Fans' thumbs went into overdrive. The brutal honesty from that analyst sliced through the usual preseason optimism like a cold wind off Lake Erie. Cleveland's quarterback situation had already been a tangle of rumors, hopes, and half-truths, but this was gasoline on a campfire. They're wasting him, a fan tweeted, tagging the Browns' official account. If you're not going to give Shedeur real reps, why draft him? But on the practice field, Sanders didn't flinch. With no star receivers to throw to, he improvised. A staffer in a white towel jogged a slant route. An equipment intern, helmet 2 sizes too big, stumbled through a post. Sanders took the snap, rolled right, and zipped a spiral into the kid's chest so clean it made the handful of onlookers chuckle. "This is crazy," whispered another reporter. "He's out here making the towel boy look like Amari Cooper." When Sanders jogged to the sideline, a media scrum formed like a sudden storm. Microphones popped up. "Shedeur," a beat writer called out, "does it bother you that you're not getting reps with the ones?" Sanders wiped sweat from his brow, took a long breath, and smiled. Just enough to suggest he'd already thought this through. "Man," he said, "I'm just trying to make whoever's out there better. Doesn't matter if it's Coop or the equipment guy. My job's the same, deliver the ball." Back in the main huddle, the presumed starter was running the offense with all the polish you'd expect. But polish doesn't always spark imagination. His throws were safe, the kind that move chains in August but don't win playoff games in January. Meanwhile, Sanders' session became an underground spectacle. Staffers began volunteering to run routes. A trainer ditched his clipboard to streak down the sideline for a go ball. Sanders laughed as he hit him perfectly in stride. Even a defensive intern tried his luck, lining up wide with mismatched gloves and catching a perfectly placed fade. Word spread quickly through camp. By the afternoon, half the roster was sneaking glances at Field 2, where the rookie was turning a ragtag crew into an impromptu highlight reel. The analyst doubled down on his midday radio segment. "I'm telling you right now, Cleveland, this kid's too good to be playing catch with ball boys. I watched those throws. I watched the zip, the anticipation. He's it. And they've got him buried." The segment went viral. Former players chimed in. One ex-Browns wideout tweeted, "Let the kid cook. Those throws don't lie." Stefanski was asked about it later that day, his press conference backdrop filled with team logos and bright lights. He offered the kind of coach speak that only fueled the fire. "Shedeur's getting valuable reps," Stefanski said. "We evaluate everyone in different situations." A reporter shot back, "With equipment managers?" Stefanski's jaw tightened. "We're looking at his mechanics, decision-making, and poise under pressure. It's all part of the process." But everyone in the room knew. This wasn't just process anymore. This was a story spiraling into something bigger. After practice, Sanders lingered on the field, signing autographs for a line of kids in oversized Browns jerseys. One young fan, clutching a football nearly as big as his torso, looked up and asked, "Are you going to be the starter?" Sanders knelt down, the noise of the field melting away. "You know what?" he said with a grin. "I'm going to be ready. That's what matters. You stay ready, you don't have to get ready." The kid nodded solemnly, as if he'd just been handed ancient wisdom. Later that night, the equipment staff posted a playful Instagram story. A slow-motion clip of Sanders threading a perfect spiral into the hands of an assistant lugging a water bottle rack. The caption read, "QB1 Energy." Fans flooded the comments. "This is better than half the highlights from last season. Give him the keys already. We don't care who he's throwing to, he's special."